We're here with Lefty Kreh at the Somerset Fly Show. We're going to talk a little bit about your new BVK line, the 10-foot 3-weight of the line. If you could tell us, Lefty, a little bit about the BVK series, what went into the design, and what you think some of the great applications are for it, and why you think why you suggest the rod for somebody.
It's become our hottest selling rod. One of the things I wanted to do was get a very light rod, but also a very strong rod. So we have a secret material within these rods that makes them much stronger than almost anybody else's light rod. We actually have had almost no breakage. On the 8-weight example, Justin, guys are catching albacore tuna up to 22 pounds on an 8-weight rod, which you really shouldn't do, but to do anyway. And they've been extremely popular. And then, of course, one of the problems with 10-foot rods, which are becoming very popular now, particularly for nymph fishing, because as the influence of the Czechs and the Europeans who've been in the world-class tournaments, the problem with those real long rods, if you have any weight in the rod at all out front, they're really floppy. Most 10-foot rods have not been very good casting or fishing rod. However, with the super light, stiff materials that we're using in the BVK, the 10-foot 3-weight, the fellows who've been trying them are just really happy about them. In fact, some of them are buying a second one of them. And it's becoming extremely popular, and I think we're going to sell a lot of them.
Great. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your involvement with TFO and how you got involved with TFO and why you endorse the company and why you think it's a great company, why people should buy the rods.
I got involved with TFO. I didn't intend to get involved with TFO, but what happened was I was working for one of the top rod companies in the country who were selling and insisted on selling $600, $700, and $800 rods. And I had tried for a long time to get them to sell a less expensive rod. One of the problems, I believe one reason we have as few young people in fly fishing today or in the past is that a father wanted to get 2 kids into fly fishing. He had to put a couple $1,000s in the outfits just to get them started. We actually had made it too expensive for most people to get involved. Temple Fork. So what really happened was that I was taking money from a company whose policies I didn't support, so I resigned. And in this business, it's a small business, the day after I resigned, 25 people knew somehow I'd resigned. Temple Fork called me, and they had the right concept of an inexpensive rod that cast extremely well. And it's not just Temple Fork, but any rod that you pay more than $100 a day for will probably cast better than the guy that bought it. There aren't any really bad fly rods anymore in the market. The other thing that was so interesting, the company I worked before really didn't want any input from people like me. They just wanted to use our names. Temple Fork, when I signed up, when they called and told me what their program was, I realized this is what I was trying to convince the other company. So I went to work for them. 1 week later, I was at their office, and they had all their rods laid out, and they had clipboards. And when I went along, picked each rod up and said, we ought to modify this, do that. Within 2 to 3 weeks, they had accomplished all these things. I really believe right now, and I couldn't sell hacksaws in a prison, so I ain't no salesman, but I really believe that Temple Fork has the best rods on the market, not just for the money, but has some of the best rods on the market. A lot of the lighter rods have a lot of breakage in them. We are experiencing virtually no breakage in our light rods because of the material we're using on inside of those rods.
That's great. Maybe you mentioned one more question. You mentioned younger people in the industry. That's very important to us as well, as being new professionals in the industry. We like we would like to see younger people get involved in the industry. I've only been fly fishing now for 4 or 5 years, and that was one of my main concerns. My first rod was actually your Lefty Kreh signature series, the 10-foot 5-weight rod that I used to learn how to nymph fish. It had a lot of applications, but I think you're right about younger people getting in the industry. It's very expensive. It's daunting on its own to learn, but with the equipment, it can be even worse. What do you think, aside from the cheaper equipment, do you think there are any other ways that we can make the industry more exciting or get more young people involved in the industry?
I think that what we should concentrate on is Boy Scouts and 4-H clubs, which already have children oriented toward the outdoor with supervisors. And I think the industry really should try more to work with those two types of groups and any other groups like that.
Well, thank you for your time, Lefty. We appreciate it. Thank you for everything you've done for the industry.
Thank you.
We thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Yep.